On this Tuesday night, a UN inquiry concludes Israel is committing genocide against Palestinians.
We continue to witness the destruction of Palestinians in Gaza.
The evidence, Israel's angry denials, and what world leaders are being urged to do. Why Chrystia Freeland is quitting as a federal cabinet minister and the new role she's taking on. A small plane crash lands in a Toronto neighborhood next to a crowded soccer field. The pilot who averted tragedy.
Certainly we were very, very fortunate.
Plus, he was much more than Hollywood's timeless golden boy.
There's always more where that came from.
From actor to filmmaker and activist, we remember Robert Redford.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Tens of thousands of Palestinians are fleeing again, forced to move south as the Israeli army bombs what's left of Gaza City. Now a United Nations commission investigating the war has determined what Israel has done and is continuing to do amounts to genocide. The three-member expert panel says there is clear evidence Israel's intent is to destroy Palestinians as a whole. The UN Convention defining and criminalizing genocide happened after the genocide of 6 million Jews by Nazi Germany.
Today we witness in real time how the promise of never again is broken and tested in the eyes of the world. The ongoing genocide in Gaza is a moral outrage and a legal emergency.
Israeli leaders have condemned the report, rejecting it as fake and claiming it's based on falsehoods. Redmond Shannon has our top story tonight.
Fleeing for their lives yet again. Thousands move south along Gaza's coastal road as Israel's military bombards, encircles and advances on Gaza City, it says, to destroy Hamas. Among the displaced is Ahmed. Those who manage to find a car can go a bit faster, but the rest of us have to walk, he says. People moving south tell freelance journalists working for Global News of the destruction and death they have left behind. An independent United Nations Commission of Inquiry says what is happening and what has happened in the 2 years of war amounts to genocide.
The goal of the Israeli government is abundantly clear as we continue to witness the destruction of Palestinians in Gaza. The Commission finds it is genocide.
Its report says that Israel has and is continuing to commit 4 of the 5 acts in the United Nations Genocide Convention, a document drafted in the wake of the Holocaust. They are killing members of the group, causing serious harm, inflicting conditions to destroy, and imposing measures to prevent births. The 3-person commission added that statements made by Israeli leaders, including Prime Minister Netanyahu and former Defence Minister Gallant, showed genocidal intent.
We urge member states to ensure accountability for any crimes that have been committed and prevent further crimes from being committed.
I'm here to talk about the scandalous report.
Israel's reaction has been similar to when a leading group of genocide scholars reached the same conclusion 2 weeks ago.
Israel categorically rejects the libelous rant published today by this Commission of Inquiry.
Whatever label is put on what is happening, the suffering in Gaza goes on with no end in sight. Redmond Shannon, Global News, London.
A major shakeup in federal politics today. Liberal MP Chrystia Freeland announced she is leaving cabinet and won't run in the next election. Freeland has been at the center of government for a decade, holding a number of key cabinet positions, including finance minister. She says she's not leaving because the burden of public service is too heavy to bear, but because she wants to seek new challenges. Mackenzie Gray reports.
It was a silent goodbye for a Liberal Party giant.
You two have some news.
Chrystia Freeland not speaking with reporters, letting her statement do the talking. With tremendous gratitude and a little sadness, I have decided to step down from cabinet today and turn the page on this chapter in my life. The Prime Minister naming the proudly Ukrainian Canadian Freeland as Canada's newly created special representative for the reconstruction of Ukraine.
I think that Chrystia is a great Canadian who broke a lot of barriers. She was our first female finance minister.
I, Chrystia Freeland.
While she intends to stay on as an MP, Freeland's departure from cabinet likely ends the political career of one of Canada's highest profile politicians. Freeland's first big file, negotiating the challenging Canada-EU free trade deal. Finalizing CETA led Freeland to an even bigger deal, NAFTA. Months of tough negotiations caught Donald Trump's eye.
We're very unhappy with the negotiations and the negotiating style of Canada. We don't like their representative very much.
Ontario's Conservative Premier became close with Freeland during NAFTA.
I talk to her almost daily, bi-daily, and she's a good person and she'll do a great job over in Ukraine.
Justin Trudeau promoted Freeland to Deputy Prime Minister and eventually Finance Minister, overseeing massive deficits during COVID and inflation, giving a unique suggestion for Canadians on how to deal with the high cost of living.
I said to the kids, you're older now, you don't want to watch Disney anymore. Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription.
Freeland, often a lightning rod for the opposition, was the minister most associated with the Trudeau era. But she eventually helped push him out the door, resigning from cabinet just hours before she was supposed to table the fall economic statement in December. She ran to replace her old boss as Liberal leader, but managed only 8% of the vote, getting crushed by Mark Carney, the godfather to one of her children.
And Mackenzie, since Freeland quit as finance minister last year on the eve of delivering the fall economic statement, there hasn't been a federal budget. Is one finally coming?
Yeah, there certainly will be, Donna. The Liberals had promised an October budget, but they've actually now pushed it to November 4th, which would be the biggest domestic moment yet for Mark Carney after he ran on a promise of strong economic stewardship. But the Liberals have been sending some mixed messages. On one hand, Carney said it'll be an austerity budget, promising a 7.5% cut to the civil service this year. One Liberal described that to me as easy to do. On the flip side, they've warned of a substantial deficit thanks to a combination of huge spending on housing, defense, and help for sectors that have been hit by tariffs, lower tax revenue from a weaker economy, and a financial shortfall from dropping those counter tariffs on the U.S., Donna. And that means that the deficit is almost certainly to be higher than the $62.8 billion that Carney promised during the election.
All right, Mackenzie Gray in Ottawa, thank you. Canada's inflation rate rose slightly last month, up from 1.7% in July to 1.9% in August. That's just shy of the 2% many economists were expecting. Gas prices dropped, but the cost of groceries, especially beef, went up. Food Banks Canada says food insecurity in this country has hit an all-time high. The 2025 Poverty Report Card gives Canada a failing grade in many categories. It cites Stats Canada data that shows 1 in 4 Canadians face some kind of food insecurity, from running out of food to going full days without eating. It gives an F for employment, saying the jobless rate, up 34% since 2023, is especially hard on young people. It cites modest but promising action from the government on school food, dental care and pharmacare. But overall, the government's poverty reduction efforts received a D. Saskatchewan's premier says he had a good meeting with Prime Minister Carney in Ottawa today. Scott Moe has been looking for ways to help Saskatchewan's canola industry hit hard by punishing tariffs imposed by China. Moe went to China last week, and today Carney thanked him for leading that trip. As Heather Urichs West reports, anxious farmers are watching closely to see if there's any payoff.
As the days grow shorter, canola farmer Roger Chevreau is putting in long hours harvesting a bumper crop.
I'm probably actually producing the biggest canola crop I ever have in the past. And the challenge, of course, is that does create some issues with bin storage space and some of those other factors.
A 76% tariff from Canada's second largest export market has sent canola prices tumbling. The cost of storage now rising in response.
I was actually talking to one of my elevator agents this morning, and what they charge us to deliver into the elevator has doubled from last year. So it's a significant impact on my cash flow.
I want to thank you for leading a very important delegation to China just recently.
With the multi-billion-dollar prairie industry on the line, Saskatchewan's premier has been tasked to help lead the trade talk charge. Reporting back to Ottawa Tuesday, fresh off a trip with Federal Parliamentary Secretary Cody Blois to Beijing.
This is another step in finding our way through what is a pretty difficult time for a significant Canadian industry.
widely seen as a response to Canada's 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles. China is tariffing other Canadian food products, including canola meal, peas, pork, and seafood as well.
I trust and I think it's been indicated there's going to be additional engagement by whether it be federal ministers, maybe the parliamentary secretary as well in the weeks and months ahead. We're going to support all of that work, but that discussion is going to happen over the next while.
Back on the prairies, farmers like Roger Chevreau say the trade talks have left him hopeful.
Yeah, it does. The very fact that we have some dialogue is helpful. It's an impact on the whole rural economy, to be honest with you.
With the livelihoods of not only canola farmers, but their workers and suppliers now on the line. Heather Yurex, West Global News, Calgary.
British Columbia has given conditional approval for another major liquefied natural gas project. The Salisbury LNG terminal will be located on the North Pacific coast, about 100 kilometers from Prince Rupert. The huge project is a partnership between the Nisga'a Nation, Texas-based Western LNG, and Rockies LNG Limited. They say the facility will be capable of producing 12 million tons of LNG a year, with operations to begin in 2028. In the U.S., the 22-year-old college student accused of shooting Charlie Kirk has been charged with murder. Tyler Robinson appeared virtually in a Utah court. Prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty if he is convicted of killing Kirk, the right-wing activist and close ally of U.S. President Donald Trump. Jackson Prosco reports on what was revealed in court.
The murder of Charlie Kirk is an American tragedy.
Announcing murder charges against Tyler Robinson, prosecutors offered their first glimpse of an alleged motive in the assassination of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk.
Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented.
Prosecutors say Robinson had started dating his roommate, who is transgender. They read text messages allegedly sent by Robinson to his partner after Kirk was shot.
I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out.
The 22-year-old is charged with aggravated murder. Prosecutors will seek the death penalty and believe he acted alone.
So others could have been involved?
Yes, sir.
On Capitol Hill, the FBI director said agents are investigating dozens of other people in a gaming chat room on Discord, where Robinson allegedly posted messages just before his arrest.
We're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Most of the violence is on the left.
U.S. President Donald Trump and his allies have been quick to capitalize on Kirk's murder, claiming there's a vast left-wing network targeting conservatives.
We are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again.
The U.S. Attorney General even suggested a potential crackdown on constitutionally protected free speech.
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech.
She later walked back those remarks. That has done little to dial down the temperature in a country divided by politics and shaken by this politically motivated attack. Jackson Prosco, Global News, Washington.
A New York judge has dismissed terrorism charges against Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Mangione appeared in court today, his first appearance since February. The 27-year-old Ivy League graduate is accused of shooting Thompson on a busy Manhattan street last year. The judge said prosecutors failed to establish enough evidence to justify terrorism-related murder charges. Mangione remains charged with second-degree murder. A small plane crash lands in Canada's largest city. Coming up, the trouble the aircraft was having in the sky and how everyone on board escaped uninjured. Air Canada and the union representing its flight attendants have agreed to end mediation on wage increases and take the matter to arbitration. The company and CUPE reached a 4-year tentative agreement in August, but flight attendants voted overwhelmingly to reject the wage increase. The rest of the tentative agreement will hold. Air Canada says there will be no labor disruption during the arbitration process. Canada's Transportation Safety Board is investigating what caused a small plane to crash land near a busy soccer field in Toronto. The plane was flying from Orillia to Toronto's Billy Bishop Airport last night when something went wrong. As Jeff Semple reports, witnesses say it's a miracle no one was hurt.
A Toronto youth soccer practice at this outdoor field Monday night was interrupted by a plane.
And then we heard a big noise, so we all turned around, and then we just saw a plane crash into the ground.
This small four-seater crash landed into this chain link fence, just steps from a school and the crowded soccer field in a densely populated neighborhood. The plane had nearly reached Toronto's downtown airport when its engine failed.
I think it's every pilot's worst nightmare to have an engine failure over a major city.
This aviation expert says the pilot would have had less than 2 minutes before hitting the ground.
She wasn't looking at down a long runway and thinking I have lots of time.
But not only did the pilot avoid hitting any people or buildings, the 3 people on board escaped unharmed. Almost 24 hours later, as you can see, the plane is still here, right next to the soccer field, and it looks like it suffered relatively minor damage. I've covered a lot of plane crashes over the years, but this is the first one I can remember that had a happy ending. Ditto for the fire chief.
To see a plane crash land into the heart of the city on a high school property is something I have not seen in my close to 30 years, and it is extremely rare. So we are very, very fortunate.
So fortunate, in fact, that once the soccer team learned everyone was okay, they continued with their practice. Jeff Semple, Global News, Toronto.
Ahead, a judge determines the next steps for a Montreal mother found not criminally responsible for abandoning her young daughter. A Montreal mother found not criminally responsible for abandoning her toddler will remain in a psychiatric hospital. A judge has ruled the 34-year-old remains a risk to the public. The girl was found safe on the side of a road. As Dan Spector reports, police interviews with the mother after she reported her daughter missing are shedding some light on her mental state at the time.
Maybe it wasn't just magic. Maybe it was programmed.
She had just left her 3-year-old daughter on the side of an Eastern Ontario highway, and the 34-year-old mother was completely disconnected with reality as she was being interrogated by police back in June. This video just released following her trial.
But it was like she was becoming possessed by a demon.
After an extensive psychiatric evaluation during months of detention, a Quebec court has found the woman not criminally responsible for the crimes she admits to: child abandonment and criminal negligence. Experts say she did not know right from wrong in the midst of a manic episode with psychotic symptoms, likely due to a schizoaffective disorder. On Tuesday, Judge Bertrand Saint-Arnaud ruled that she must remain detained at a psychiatric institute for at least another 90 days. The defense had tried to argue for her immediate release.
Even if she's not responsible, she is not liberated.
The judge recognized the woman's condition has clearly improved now that she's on mood stabilizers and antipsychotics, but he determined she remains a danger to society.
It's a good thing that we will take care of her mental illness and protect the public.
The judge said he believes the mother will eventually be able to lead a normal or at least semi-normal life. The progress of her psychiatric treatment will be reevaluated in 90 days by a commission of experts. At that point, we'll know more about the timeline for her reintegration into society.
I think it's fair to give hope to an accused, even if she done something impossible.
The woman could be allowed temporary leave, but not anytime soon, and only if approved by experts. She's not allowed to communicate with her daughter or the girl's father, and she can't go on the internet without supervision. Dan Spector, Global News, Valleyfield, Quebec.
Next, remembering Robert Redford, from leading man to filmmaker to activist. Robert Redford was instantly recognizable. His good looks, his windswept hair made him a movie star, but he went on to become an accomplished filmmaker, and his death at the age of 89 is hitting lots of people hard. Meryl Streep, who starred alongside Redford, said, "One of the lions has passed. Rest in peace, my lovely friend." And from Jane Fonda, "He meant a lot to me and was a beautiful person in every way. He stood for an America we have to keep fighting for." Redford's publicist says he died in his sleep at home in Utah, where the Sundance Film Festival he started lives on. Eric Sorensen looks at Redford's legacy.
Robert Redford was an almost instant heartthrob.
There's 2 cheeseburgers and 4 Cokes.
Onion?
Yeah, in the Cokes.
Breaking into Hollywood, he was good looking. And when he paired with Paul Newman, it was Hollywood magic.
Well, that ought to do it.
Think you're using enough dynamite there, Butch?
Their charisma, chemistry, and humor.
He's not as tough as he thinks. Neither are we.
But he wanted to do serious things. As an actor, exposing the Nixon-Watergate scandal.
I'm Bob Woodward of the Washington Post.
And also off-camera. He directed Ordinary People, a wrenching drama about family and suicide.
I knew something was wrong.
His first film as a director, and he won the Academy Award. He seemed thankful to be accepted as more than a screen idol.
I'm not that comfortable celebrating myself, and there's so many red carpets, so many places that I'm more interested in what the purpose is, which is showing the films.
He then established a non-profit for independent filmmakers, which became the Sundance Film Festival, launching the unconventional careers of Tarantino, the Coen brothers, and Steven Soderbergh.
Our role is to create a space and a platform to bring new voices and new ways of seeing the world using independent film to this place. That's it. We're not interested in the money. That's somebody else's issue.
Redford was a passionate environmentalist, an early advocate to address climate change.
That artists and art have the power to affect change.
He received countless honors. His last acting role was in The Old Man and the Gun.
You know what I do when the door closes? I jump out the window.
Which screened at the Toronto International Film Festival.
How does it feel to go out with this one?
It feels great. I can't think of a better way to go out.
Redford valued most his contribution behind the scenes to filmmaking and public service. But like it or not,
Go pick me out a winner, Bobby.
he'll likely be best remembered for his magnetic presence in front of the cameras.
That is Global National for this Tuesday. I'm Donna Friesen. Tonight's Your Canada showcases Brazeau County, Alberta, the Youth Activity Centre in Eganville, Ontario, and the Scarecrow Festival in Mahone Bay, Nova Scotia. Send your pictures of Canadian pride to Global National at globalnews.ca. And thanks for watching. Hope to see you here again tomorrow. Bye-bye.